Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City Council meeting of April 3rd, 2018. Call the meeting to order and let us rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Sylvia.
Mayor Wastigal.
Here.
Council President Garland.
Here.
Councilor Kuiper. Here. Councilor Young. Here. Councilor Browse.
Here.
Councilor Griffin.
Here.
Councilor Rosner.
Here.
Thank you.
And our item 4 is the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion, please?
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Item 5 is the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we remove item J from the consent agenda and move it to new business just prior to swearing in of elected officials.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. It has been moved to item 6A, and the swearing in will be item B. Okay, with the remaining items that would be on the consent agenda, I will read those so we all hear the titles. Item A is approval of the March 20, 2018 City Council meeting minutes. Item B, resolution 2018-025, approving the city recorder's canvassing of the Washington County election returns of the March 13, 2018 election and directing the city recorder to enter the results into the record. Item C, resolution 2018-026, authorizing the city manager to execute a construction contract for the 2018 pavement rehabilitation projects. Item D, resolution 2018-027, reappointing Justin Kai to the Sherwood Planning Commission. Item E, resolution 2018-028, reappointing Doug Scott to the Sherwood Planning Commission. Item F, resolution 2018-029, appointing Jason Burge to the Sherwood Police Advisory Board. Item G, resolution 2018-030, appointing Andy Jensen to the Sherwood Police Advisory Board. Item H, resolution 2018-031, appointing Megan Thornton to the Sherwood Police Advisory Board. Item I, resolution 2018-032, appointing Ralph Lohman to the Sherwood Police Advisory Board. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is approved. Item 6 is the new business with the new item added. That's item A, which was formerly resolution 2018-033, adopting rules of procedure for the City Council.
So Mayor and Council, I'll let Josh Soper chime in if necessary. You're getting a revised document, which is basically a document that fixed a number of typos that Councilor Rosner discovered in reviewing the document over the weekend. None of them are substantive. Not Councilor Rosner, Councilor Griffin, sorry. None of them are substantive, but we wanted to make sure you got the most up-to-date document to vote on tonight.
Please.
So if that meets with your approval, then we would need a motion to amend the resolution to incorporate the changes, and then once that passes, we'd have a motion to approve the resolution as amended.
And this is the same document that was emailed out earlier
Yes,
today.
that's correct.
I move that we amend I move resolution 2018-033, amending the rules of procedure for city council.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Does that work, Josh?
Oh, I didn't. We had to
So
discuss.
we need a motion to amend the resolution to incorporate the changes.
And then a motion to approve.
And then a
the
motion to
resolution.
approve the resolution as amended.
Yes,
Yeah.
So what did we just do? Did we
I
do the
amended.
I need a motion.
I made a motion to amend.
to amend.
Okay, all right, we're moving forward.
And it has been seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is approved to amend. Can I have a motion on the amended?
Make a motion
Rules?
to approve the council rules as amended.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. The amended rules have been adopted. Wow.
Making you work for it.
We did it. Okay, the next item is the swearing in of elected officials. City manager?
So I think we're going to start with the two counselors. So Counselor Rosner and Counselor Griffin, if you can come down. Are you going to do both at once, or? Why don't you both come down? Alone? The mayor-elect says alone.
We're a team.
So Counselor Rosner, why don't you come on down first, and then Russell.
I, Tim Rosner, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the state of Oregon and the laws of the city of Sherwood, and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the responsibilities bestowed upon me as a city councilor of the city of Sherwood. Congratulations.
Okay, Counselor Griffin. I think this is the third time in. Sorry.
It's got to be a record, right?
I, Russell Griffin, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the state of Oregon and the laws of the city of Sherwood, and will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the responsibilities bestowed upon me as a city councilor of the city of Sherwood.
Okay,
I figured if it's repeated a couple times, I'll get it started.
exactly.
I, Keith Mays. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution. And the laws of the United States and the state of Oregon. And the laws of the city of Sherwood. And will faithfully, honestly, and impartially. Discharge the responsibilities bestowed upon me. As the mayor of city of Sherwood.
That's yours.
Lee, you can't go very far, and I knew we didn't really have a plan, but Lee, you're not done yet. And since this is the closest we have to a portable mic, I grabbed this. We're gonna probably go person to person and embarrass you a little bit, but first, I want to thank you for your service to our community these past few months and over the years. You have always put our community first, and you're the standard bearer for that. And in addition to your service, I also want to recognize your partner in crime, Elsa Jane. And for Elsa, we have a couple things that you can share if she wants to share with you, but
Holy smokes.
a nice bouquet for you to take home, and we'll set this over here. And a gift certificate for a nice meal with one of our finest establishments in Old Town. But it is a pleasure, and I know you're going to continue your good work and cut your hours back a little bit again to be in the good graces of Elsa Jane. We greatly appreciate it. But you can't go away anywhere. I'm going to swing around back and let everybody else say a few things. So,
I will certainly go ahead and start off. Lee, of course, thank you for filling in during some interesting times here on council, getting us stabilized and really getting us to where we are today. I think most people will look at this council today and agree that we are a great council working well together. I think everybody here on council has felt that sense of camaraderie that you've brought to the council in the time that you were mayor. So really thank you for getting us to where we are and helping us so far in 2018 to move us forward in 2018 to doing some good things. So thanks a lot, Lee.
I too just want to thank you for all your service, and you were just the perfect person to come in and sort of calm things down after the turmoil we were in last year. And I know when Councillor Kuiper and I invited you to coffee and asked you if you would consider this, you were shocked. And you said, I really have to think about this. And then it was like 4 hours later, you told us you submitted your application. So, so we truly appreciate that. And as a parting gift, we have given you a little memory, a little caricature of you sitting up here at the dais to remind you of your short time as mayor and one of the many roles you have filled for our city. Thank you.
Well, I'm the third runner-up here, or the third time is the charm, or whatever my little moniker is. I just have to say, you're the nicest politician I've ever met. I mean, I honestly, from day one, when we both pulled the Dr. Pepper out of that fridge, I knew we were going to be friends. And it really is. I could choke on my words because I just think you're one of the nicest gentlemen that I've ever known. And it has been my absolute honor to serve with you. I would do it again without hesitation. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Weislogal. You're a true statesman, absolutely. And, I'd like to add to what everyone else said, but when you do this, when you speak about Sherwood and then you do that, that speaks volumes to me, and it speaks volumes to everyone that when they hear you talk and they see that gesture that you do, I'm going to miss that. But I'm only going to miss it up on the dais. I can come to Sherwood Main Street and anywhere else at any time to see you do that same gesture because it really is heartfelt. And thank you for being the glue that helped us come together after some really topsy-turvy few months. Can't thank you enough.
Well, Lee, I believe that you are an epitome of a servant heart, a very humble gentleman who doesn't believe in I, but believes in we. And I appreciate all that you've done for us up here, for the city of Sherwood. And I believe that you'll continue to do great things. So thank you.
I just wanted to say thanks to Lee. I'm new to this, and I really appreciated the wisdom and the help along the way when I had questions, and just the invaluable amount of history that you have with our community. I really enjoyed our ride back from the West Side Economic Alliance meeting when you told me all about how you were involved in laying that pipeline out to Tualatin from Sherwood. But part of me is a little sad that I won't be working with you anymore on council, but I am very excited that I'm the liaison to the Historical Society and the Main Street group, and I'll continue to get to work with you with those groups. So thank you.
We are very blessed to have
Thank you, Lee.
Welcome back.
Great. Oh, wonderful. Well, moving back to our next item on our agenda is citizen comments. Do we have some forms completed for some citizens like to address us? Awesome. Doug Scott. Welcome.
Hello, Doug Scott, 22862 Southwest Saunders Drive. I'm here to talk a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it to the next meeting, so I wanted to talk about the UGB expansion. That looks like it'll be in front of you the next at the next meeting. So I kind of have some concerns about the expansion, and you know, we kind of went through the work session. I was at the work session a couple weeks ago where you guys spent quite a bit of time hearing about it from staff and also talking about it amongst yourselves, and it was very informative. I'll say that when I first started looking into this myself, I was in favor of it. But the more I've kind of listened to people around town, listened to you guys, read the staff reports, and looked into the specifics, I'm now actually against pursuing a UGB expansion at this time. One of the things that was in the report at the work session was a list of possible impacts that not doing an expansion would have. And I don't remember them all. There was 6 or 7 listed. Rising property values was one, infill was another, a couple other things. And I remember remarking to myself that a lot of the things on that list, a lot of people in this community might see as positives and not negatives. And I felt like they were being presented as negative impacts to the city, and I don't necessarily think all of them are to everyone. Some of them, to some people, yes. So that's one thing. You know, infill being one of those particularly, like, I don't see that as a bad thing. Like, there's a lot of little pockets around town that are kind of never going to be developed if we keep adding hundreds and hundreds of acres of land. But if we don't, that's going to lead more likely that those areas will be either redeveloped, the ones that are deteriorating, or the ones that are just open space that would actually, someone might actually come in and develop those. So I actually see that as a positive. But mostly I'm concerned that this just feels very rushed to me. And I realize we're rushing because we have this deadline, but it feels like we're rushing to rush, and we haven't done our community visioning process yet. We haven't completed our comprehensive plan yet. We're rushing through a potential housing needs analysis out of sequence of what it would normally be done, because we have to do it for this UGB ask if we're going to ask for it. And I'm just wondering, why are we in such a rush? Like, what is the driving factor where, oh my gosh, we have to add this land? I haven't yet seen or heard the argument that makes sense to me. You know, Brookman just came in, and that will take a decade to develop. We have developable land. Most of that's going to be residential, I believe. So there is developable land that's already in stock that's going to last us for quite a while. There's another shot at the UGB ask in 3 years or 6 years, and I just don't feel like we have to go after it right now. There's also other areas around town, smaller areas than that, obviously, that are currently being developed and that are available to be developed over the next few years as well. I just think we really need to understand the impacts that this might have on our school system, on our infrastructure, on our tax base, and I just feel like we're really, really rushing into this without really understanding what we might be getting ourselves into. And so I would just urge you guys to vote against going after the expansion, I guess. And I would urge all the citizens and people who are interested in this to look at the information, you know, try to get yourself up to speed, and then make up your own minds and contact your council and let them know what you think about it. Because they're making a decision for all of us, and the more input they have from people in the city, the more, the better informed they are in making that decision. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Doug. Next, Lisa Walker. And Roger, if you want to join, you can, or you want to be separate, that's fine. Okay. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Thanks.
And welcome to all, hello to all of you again from just a few weeks ago. Lisa and Roger Walker, 23500 Southwest Murdoch Road, Sherwood 97140. We are here today in reference to the decision of the PUD 1701, subdivision 1701 for the Denali planned unit subdivision. That was a final decision on March 8th. The conditional approval was given for a 7-lot subdivision at that time. And if I can just take a quick step back in my couple of minutes here. In 2006, 12 years ago, along with many neighbors, we came together, and I believe Mayor Mays was here to put together with the staff and the City Council and Planning Commission to guide future development for the 50 acres, which would soon become the Southeast Sherwood area. It was the last of its kind in the city, and recognizing that development was likely, it was determined that having a cohesive plan for the area made sense. So we began that process, and while it was an arduous process, nothing was formally adopted. We did have come out with the Southeast Sherwood Master Concept Plan. It provided a model for how future development was to maintain the intent of that concept plan, as I'm sure you'll all recall. Because of that process, I became a member of, or I joined the Sherwood Planning Commission, for which I served with you for 10 years until last year. During that time, I grew to understand that it is the responsibility of the staff and of the council to support development in Sherwood, appropriate development in Sherwood. And we really have not tried to stand in the way of the development behind our property, but we have insisted that the intentions of that master plan be followed. And, as a member of the public, I can see how difficult and time consuming it is for us, for someone out here to spend the time to stand up for what's right and how long it takes. And so I understand why it's always a struggle, and a goal of the councils and the Planning Commission was always a struggle to get citizens involved. So today we're coming to you to ask you for advice and to make you aware of a situation that you may see again. In the last council meeting, the decision was reached that a view corridor was clearly identified and agreed to by all parties. Discussions followed on how best to measure the compliance within the corridor. If you recall, we broke the meeting, and language was called. The developer was asked to review his documents and form the language that we could all agree to. The request was completed in about 15 minutes. We all agreed. The way the particular statement reads is, no part of any structure on Lot 2 shall exceed the finished floor elevation of the existing structure to the west. By the request of Steve Miller, who is the project manager for the designer working with the builder, we met at our home last Friday, and they informed us that after they reviewed the surveying results, they could not honor the agreement. They needed an additional 6 feet in elevation and asked us to sign off on that request. My mother lives with us, and she has a complete home in our second floor, and she was there as well as my husband Roger and I. Steve also had a surveyor with him, because it's very difficult to kind of guess what that means. How far is that in this development? And he had a really handy tool with him that allowed us to kind of look to see where that line would be. We took advantage of 6 feet, and then that was completely unacceptable. It was completely gone. I actually laid on the ground, which was what we agreed to, the 0 level, and it still was not great. May I continue, or have Roger continue for my few minutes?
Do you mind if she just continues? We're almost done.
Yes, that's okay. If you're near the end, yeah.
At that time, we told him we could not agree to the changes that he wanted, and he said he understood our position, but to expect a call or an email, and we did get that email, and curiously, the builder was pretty unhappy with us, saying, and had indicated some different numbers even than Steve did. And our question to you is, what are our rights and who helps us at this point make sure that what we all agreed to happens? And if we intend, if he has to go back to the drawing board or start a new process, is this another 120 days? Because I know we were really tight and we made some quick decisions because of his need to get moving along in our 20-day tolling situation. We've been working on this in January. Again.
We have 3 questions, and do you want to just tackle each one separately, or?
So the best thing, generally speaking, with this is we'll put you and staff together to understand the process. But as a general rule, if a PUD is adopted by the city council, then that is the PUD. If there's still, staff will tell you if the applicant can appeal, then if they have that ability in the PUD, then that's their right, and then the process continues.
Yeah, Mayor Mays, I want to echo that. I mean, this is news to me
Right.
that there's
Just
an issue.
yesterday.
So this is definitely an issue that staff would like to sit down with you and make sure we understand completely if it's a condition of approval. And Josh Soper, the city attorney, would be involved with that. Julia Hyduke, the planning staff, and would sit down and make sure we understand.
They can't just
things.
randomly change the conditions of an approval.
And they can't. We are going on a month-long out of town in about a week and a half, and I don't want this also to slip out during that time. We've been working arduously at this since January.
We'll
so.
contact you tomorrow.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Right.
like I said, this is news to us.
Certainly.
Give us
I
a chance to
expected
try
that.
to understand the issue and hopefully get
And
to a
news to us.
resolution. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll keep the council obviously in the loop in terms of what we discover, so.
There is one question, Ronnie, my mother-in-law, who resides in the lower half of the home. Her concern is that if the builder chooses not to disclose this and moves on with the project and the home gets built in the view corridor, and now that I know how to work the tools to measure, I find that we're out of compliance, that we are not, that the home wasn't built at 0 elevation, but indeed it was some elevation there above that.
They don't get an occupancy permit.
There we go. So there is teeth to this, and there would be some kind of a remedial action taken to rectify. Is that correct?
Yep.
Would I have to initiate that, or is there a measurement that you folks?
So let's get you and staff together so you understand just the steps involved. But in my prior existence up here, I'm aware of us doing this at the city doing stop work orders and not issuing building permits, occupancy permits for non-compliance of conditions.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, there is a very well-established procedure process to go through, and we just need to get schooled.
You bet.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for the added stress of things, and
Yeah, thanks for letting us know.
thanks everyone. Next, Diane Mendel Matthews.
Well, she's coming up, Mr. Mayor. Julia Hyduke, who is not here, just texted me. She's watching at home. So
Like thousands of others are doing today.
yeah, my staff who, I said, take the night off because there's nothing on the agenda is watching at home. She said the Denali has to go back for a final PUD. The developer cannot change the condition. So that's just a little bit more information, so.
Well, you have a very dedicated employee staff member. She's taking time out of her relaxment, personal time to be involved. So good job, Julia. So hello, everybody. I am Diane Mandel Matthews, and I wanted to come today to talk to you very quickly about UGB. So I've met several of you. I want to say thank you to Kim, thank you to Renee. I've heard from Jennifer and a few others to talk really about the urban growth boundary expansion. And I was here at the last meeting. So I'll say I don't have a real defined testimony tonight because I just found out at the last minute that this was going on. So I made a few notes to myself. So I apologize if there's a little bit of rambling here, but I have a few key things that I want to go over. So first and foremost, most of you don't know who I am. You may be familiar with the Mandel name. We've been in the community for many, many years, well over 100 years. I do want to clarify that in that 100 years, we've had a lot of involvement with the community, and so we have a lot of skin in the game to how the Sherwood community develops. And I think that's very important, and as it is with all of you that have taken time out of your schedules to commit to being involved in serving the community. A couple of things that came up during the work with session that I think is important, and I was a little concerned about that there was maybe a lack of clarification. One is that the Sherwood West concept plan that was put together was a very involved and detailed plan. It was a very lengthy. The people that volunteered on the council had to go through a process to be part of that council, and we did a lot of hard work, and we provided a lot of direction, and that was all in conjunction with the greater Sherwood City plan. So it's not like it was developed outside of the box, okay, in its own initial plan. So there was some talk about that at that last meeting, so I wanted to give some clarity around that because I was definitely involved in that process. There was a lot of community involvement also in that process, and the school was involved in the process too, the school board. So there was some talk that maybe there was, or maybe I misunderstood, that there was a lack of the school involvement. The school was actually involved, and they did have input. And so it's, I had the feeling when we left that meeting the other night that it was almost like there was just a lot of disconnects. And so I wanted to come and just, from my perspective, say, since I was very involved, that there really weren't a lot of disconnects and that it is a pretty good plan. The other piece that this is a unique situation to have this situation where Metro is asking and allowing us to have this interim ask for expansion of land into the city of Sherwood. And as we know and are quite aware, there isn't a lot of affordable housing in the city of Sherwood right now. And if we do not do anything as a community and do an ask at this interim, my concern as a citizen is that we are missing a valuable opportunity. And in the next 3 years, and to your point, Mayor Mays, that you said, you know, Metro is always transitioning. It is always transitioning, but it is a very, it's a governance body, and they don't always give us a lot of latitude. So I would hate for us, since we do have the strategic plan in place, to move forward, to not do any ask. So there were two things that happened, is that it appeared that there was this decision that maybe there would be no ask in this Metro exception process, or that we would only ask for 295 acres. I thought that Joe's team did a nice job of trying to serve everything up. But here's the thing. One of the questions I have is in that 295 acre ask that that's potential is it how was that piece, how was that section determined? Because, okay, and I'll can I have a little bit more here?
Yeah, just wrap
I will. I'll wrap up. So how was that area determined? There are no services out in that area per se. And so it seems to me like we're almost in another Brookman situation where it will be not really developable. So just to really wrap up, and I'll put some thoughts together for all of you, is that where we are located at 18550 Southwest Edie Road, which is the corner of Edie and Elwert, that is a very busy intersection, and now we're right across the street from the city, and we have all the city services right there, and it is going to, we would like to be included in the expansion. If we are not included in the expansion, because now we're right across the street from the city, this is going to impact our operationalizing of how we run our farm, because we're now right next door. And we can get into that at another time. But I just wanted to bring a few thoughts up. And so my final ask is that I would really ask that the counselors look at this, and I know you're looking at it very carefully, but there was a lot of hard work done by the community. There was a lot of community involvement, and I feel like a yes vote is the right vote moving forward for urban UGB expansion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. staff can send you or connect you with the map of the alternative A that staff has been
Yeah, I've
working
got
on.
it.
Okay.
I've got that. You can send it to me again. It is very hard to read a lot of that stuff. So one thing, Joe, is I'd like to follow up with you with a few suggestions I might be able to help you with as a community offering to just do some things. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Diane. Next is Eugene Stewart. Welcome, Gene.
Mayor and Council, Eugene Stewart. I own property in the city of Sherwood, live outside the city limits. I've asked you several times to sit down and have a session about what is happening at the senior center so that we have some written policies on what is going on there. I think some seniors are confused about the activity that's been going on. It makes them nervous. And things are changing, but they're not being asked to be involved in the changes. So just have a work session maybe sometime during the week at the senior center while the seniors are there and get some input about what they're looking for. I think Renee found out quite a things that go on there that she wasn't aware of. And so we're kind of hidden back there. We need to be exposed more so people know we're there. We had a lot of problem with people thinking we were closed after Loaves and Fishes pulled out. We don't have the best connection on the internet. Maybe that would help. Also, transportation for some of the seniors, maybe more would come if they could find transportation to get there. Also, it's just a little thing, but the sidewalk on the senior center side, there's so many dips in it. Once you get there, you'll realize it's hard to walk on slopes and ups and downs, and that does keep some people away. And it seems like the sidewalks are getting narrower on that one side and the brush grows out over it. Is there a better way for access? If it becomes used more, you're going to have trouble with parking. You got 5 acres right next to it. I think it would make a beautiful park and a place for additional parking. So I think there's a lot of potential there. Mr. Broadhurst, at the time when the school district first expanded, made sure that the one drive into Hopkins was right across from the one that goes to your property. So at some point, you know, a crossing light or stoplight would not only benefit the senior center to get to the parking, also the senior housing, as they come out, they would have a stoplight. So when they're turning right or left, they're not in as much danger. With Hopkins moving, maybe the school doesn't need it as much, but there's lots of things that could be done, especially getting a reader board so people know we're there. So that's why I think, you know, having a meeting with the seniors, seeing what's going on, and have a work session so you get a good plan in line and really use the senior center. And one other thing, I was up there and that one new community restroom, you got to get rid of that gas smell in there. They've been told that it's just gray water, but it sure doesn't smell like gray water to me.
Thank you, Gene. The senior center is absolutely important, critical to our community, and we need to engage our seniors to make it work for everyone. And to some of those improvement points that you hinted at, every year we do submit applications for community development block grants to do such improvements like that, and those are all outstanding ideas to add to the list and get other feedback from our seniors on how to operate it successfully to meet their needs and expand offerings. So thank you very much. Anyone else like to do citizen comment? All right. moving on, presentations. We have one presentation tonight, and it is a proclamation about libraries. Whereas libraries are not just about what they have for people, but what they do for and with people. They have long served and trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. Whereas librarians are leaders in their institutions and organizations, in their communities, and in the nation and in the world. Whereas librarians continue to lead the way in leveling the playing field for all those who seek information and access to technologies, whereas libraries and librarians look beyond their traditional roles and provide transformative opportunities for education, employment, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and engagement, as well as new services that connect slowly with patrons' needs, whereas libraries and librarians lead their communities in innovation, providing STEM programming, market spaces, and access and training for new technologies, whereas libraries are pioneers supporting democracy and effective social change with a commitment to providing equitable access to information for all library users, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or social economic status, whereas libraries lead in working with diverse communities, including people of color, immigrants, and people with disabilities, offering services and educational resources that transform communities, open minds, and promote inclusion and diversity, whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. The mission of the Sherwood Public Library is to inspire discovery, enrich lives, and build communities through equitable access to lifelong learning. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Keith Mays, Mayor of Sherwood, proclaim National Library Week, April 8th to April 14th, 2018, and I encourage all residents to visit the library this week and explore what's new at our library and engage with your librarian because of you and our library leaders, libraries transform. So go check out our library. It is awesome. City manager report. Now, there was a rumor.
Oh.
No, I won't do it. There was a rumor at
Egg Hunt?
Egg Hunt that your birth certificate is JoJo.
Mr. Mayor, it is not JoJo.
Okay, so let's the record be clear that your name is Joe.
Yes, a young lady at Egg Hunt, who will remain nameless, the daughter of somebody, termed the coin, "Can I call you JoJo?" And of course I said, "Of course, you can call me whatever you want. I've been called worse, so." And somehow that name has stuck.
Well, we all have these cute nicknames, and
correct.
We'll just let us see if that one
JoJo is fine. So.
I apologize.
That's okay.
But
Welcome
it was
back,
just too
Mr.
funny,
Mayor.
too funny at Egg Hunt.
So the only
Clear
thing,
the air.
I wanted to kind of chime in from a staff perspective, since Lee is still in the room. So, sorry, Lee. Thought you were done. I and my senior leadership team and staff, when you work with the mayor, we get to work with all of you, but usually the mayor is someone you spend a little bit more time and energy with because of his or her role. And I just want to also say I have really, really enjoyed working with Lee over the last few months for a variety of ways. And I kind of want to echo what I heard from counselors. He is the epitome of a public servant. Being mayor in this city is only kind of the top of all the other things that he has served in different roles, including being the interim city manager at one point. He was a pleasure to work with. I will miss working with him, and I know my staff really enjoyed working with him. He was the right man at the right time, and I couldn't not take this opportunity to express for the staff that we will miss working with him as well. So.
You're here, well said.
So I didn't have anything to report tonight. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have for me. Your next meeting on April 17th, I will not be here. I will be on vacation that week. So Mr. Pessamir will be in charge during the week as I'm gone for a week of vacation.
Excellent.
Any questions that we can answer for the folks? Or I don't think Julie is watching anymore, so.
And of course, we're back here Thursday for budget, and then
We are back here
for
Thursday night for a
goals.
budget committee, and then we are also doing council goal setting on Saturday.
Great. Questions?
Thank you.
Council announcements. Council President?
All right, I'll make it brief tonight. Welcome, Mayor. Thanks for joining us up here. I think you'll enjoy your time. And Russell, thanks again for being a counselor. And Tim, of course, you know, I can't say anything but good things about you, so I'm glad you're back. You never left, but I'm glad you're still here. And on that same note, I do want to call out just some special thanks to the folks that we talked about in the consent agenda tonight. I know we do a consent agenda, and we go through it real quick. I do want to call it, we have Justin Kai and Doug Scott that are in the audience here tonight. They are reappointed to the Planning Commission, so thank you guys. And to the 4 new ladies and gentlemen who are joining the Police Advisory Board, a board that I used to be on for 2 years prior to joining council. Thank you to those 4 for joining. It's a great board, liaison role between the police department and the citizens, and they have a lot of good things that they're going to be doing this year. So thanks to those 4 for stepping up. And moving into the ask portion of my comments is we do still have 2 openings on the Planning Commission, and the deadline for applying for that is April 13th. So if you are interested in helping out, please do apply for the Planning Commission. And as I am the liaison to the Planning Commission, we didn't have any meetings in March. Our next meeting is next Tuesday, and there will be a public hearing on the skate park. So if you have some interest in the skate park, have some things to say about the skate park, please do join us here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Hello. So since our last meeting, I am the liaison to the YMCA, and so I just had a couple announcements there. They have hired a new executive director, and his name is Ryan Buck, and he will begin on April 23rd. He will be ready to hit the ground running. I think he was. I was lucky enough to sit in on the interviews, and I think he's going to be a great fit for our community. So looking forward to him and his family moving to Sherwood or the surrounding area. I'm not sure where they found housing, but a couple things coming up for the YMCA is April 21st, Healthy Kids Day from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. That's open to all community members. You don't need to be a YMCA member, so it's open to everybody. One of the things I heard they're going to be doing there is they're going to be doing swim evaluations on whoever wants to be evaluated to see what level swimming classes you might need to enter if that's something you're interested in. And another very interesting activity that they're having is a mom prom. So dust off your prom dresses and your tuxedos, because on May 12th they're having a mom prom, I think in the teen center, but it's for adults. And then 2 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of attending the Sherwood School District meeting on behalf of Councilor Rosner, who had double booked himself. It was a very short meeting for a school district meeting. It was like 30 minutes long, but they were just given an update on their strategic planning, and it looks like their plan is working itself. So, and last Saturday, many of us participated in the 12th annual Egg Hunt for Hope, which is just a great community event that's sponsored by the McCabe Real Estate Group, Todd and Leslie McCabe. And they raised $32,000 for Barb Johansson, a community member who is facing cancer right now. And it's just amazing to see how our community can come together and raise that kind of funds to help somebody in our community out. So it was very successful. It was a beautiful day. The sun was out. The place was packed. The bunny was hilarious. And lots of kids got lots of candy. So thank you.
Awesome.
I am the liaison to the Sherwood Robin Hood Festival Association, and I would just want to remind everybody it's coming up in July 20th and 21st. and the 20th being the parade. Like 20,000 people attended last year. It's a huge deal in the city of Sherwood. So if you want to volunteer, you can go to Sherwood, RobinHoodFestival.org and become a volunteer. You might get a little green hat, a little green t-shirt. You get all the good stuff behind the booths, all the secret stuff that happens. I don't know if there's any secret stuff, but I'm trying to sell this. So it's really a ton of fun.
Until you.
Exactly. It's really a lot of fun. And if you know of someone you would like to nominate to be knighted at a very cool ceremony, it's really a cool thing. And now they've really upped what they give you. They give you this thing with your picture on it and the certificate. I didn't get that one. Did you get it? Oh, she got it. So it's very, very cool. It's quite an honor. So if you know someone in the community who you think has really done a great job as a citizen and really put Sherwood first, and they just do all kinds of things, you can nominate them. Just go to the website. Just have to do it before May 15th to nominate. Let's see. I missed the Parks and Rec Board meeting last night. I was at a tennis match, and then, well, it got canceled, and then our first Hello Dolly rehearsal. But Renee went, so she's going to talk about it. Is that right? I hope. Okay. So the Comprehensive Plan Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, if you're wondering what it is, I think everybody on the committee has gotten this email. That'll be April 25th at 6:30 p.m. here in the community room, and they're going to start talking about community visioning, the visioning component of the comprehensive plan. That'll be very interesting. You're welcome to come to the meeting. There's plenty of chairs to sit around the sides and kind of watch what happens. It's going to be quite an interesting thing. And I think that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, gentlemen, Mayor, Counselor, I have a little Dionne Warwick for you.
Uh-oh.
Deja vu. Could this be the dream that I once knew? Welcome back, boys. Hey. You don't remember Dionne Warwick, Deja Vu? Come on. How many times have we, had you stand up there, Russell?
I'm just glad it wasn't the same judge as the past 2 times. So.
Yeah, he was a little confused by it all, too.
He was very confused the second time.
But anyway, yeah, happy to be working with all of you guys, so. Again, just a couple things. The big gala is, speaking of theater, and Sherwood Center for the Arts. We have the gala coming up this Saturday. I think it starts at 6, but maybe it starts at 7. I don't know. I just know I'm going to show up. It's going to be a great time. I think tickets are probably sold out, unfortunately. So I probably won't talk about that anymore. But there is something going on at the Sherwood Center for the Arts that I think everyone would enjoy, and that is I think the artwork that the students put together, and we actually had some awards last council meeting. The artwork is still there, and I would encourage everyone to go and take a look at that. A lot of the work was done by our local students and our local adult artists, so it's pretty amazing. In addition to that, I'm also the liaison to the Cultural Arts Commission, and we're starting our Parks Master Plan that will be coming starting in probably June. It was great to see the strategic plan for the library. Now we're getting a strategic public arts master plan. Really excited. There's a lot of great things happening at the city level, so I encourage, if you're interested in participating in what a master plan for public arts might be, you can let the Sherwood Center for the Arts know or contact staff, and we'll see about getting you on board on that committee. One other thing I wanted to mention is, speaking of art, I'm also the liaison to the Friends of the Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge, and this month, and I believe for the next couple of months, there's some incredible artwork that's been done by students in the region that is part of the National Duck Art Stamp contest or program, and students compete from all over the United States, and there's some really incredible artwork that's done by various age groups that is now on display at the Wildlife Refuge, and you can go in there and take a look at it. But some of these kids are on their way to nationals. It's going to be really amazing, so go and check it out while you can. So thank you.
I will not be singing for you. I do want to know what you put in your water. You know nothing. Okay. So we already did a proclamation on Library Week, but I don't know if you all know, there is this interesting document. It is a 3-year strategic plan that the library has put together. It was a team of library staff, as well as the advisory board and several community members. So 23 staff, 9 advisory board members, and 13 members of the community that came up with this document that consists of 3 goals. Then there's several objectives and then activities that go along with each of those. But I learned tonight that this is 43% done. And it's only a 3-year document that launched April 19th of 2017. So if that doesn't tell you that we have a pretty spectacular library community, I don't know what does. So this is a really interesting document that's available for all of you to see. I attended the Friends of the Senior Center meeting, I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, and to Eugene's credit, I did learn some things that I didn't know was happening at the Senior Center. So there is a men's coffee that I'm supposed to attend at some point. Although I'm not a man, so it should be pretty interesting. But 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday is a men's coffee group that meets. And then on April 12th, the group is going to go see West Side Story. And they do fun and interesting little trips on a monthly basis that the Friends of the, I don't have it with me, I guess, that the Friends of the Senior Center put together for the crew. There's been some kitchen updates. There's going to be some more kitchen updates. I also learned that on Wednesdays at 1:30, there is a dance group that goes on. I mean, true fashion dance. So we've all been invited to attend the dance that attends at 1:30 on Wednesdays. Yes, let's do it. And they did mention that, yes, transportation issues are of something they're very interested in exploring. I did want to add something that Councilor Young mentioned about Egg Hunt for Hope. We did raise $32,000. It's the second highest amount in the 12 years that it's been in existence. So that was pretty awesome. I did attend the Parks Board last night. It was riveting. Actually, it was pretty interesting. But Quentin Renitz and Dana Anderson from Anderson Pool Works gave a presentation about a pool concept that they have. They would like to put a pool in our community somewhere. There's not a lot of details that are available for us, but their concept is pretty interesting. It would not only be a state-of-the-art pool, but it would be a pool that is used for training on new techniques in the aquatic business. So that is something that they are wanting to talk more about with council and with the community. And then Martin Rakers from the YMCA did also do an announcement on some things going on at the Y, which Councilor Young already mentioned a few. But as many of you know, on April 21st is Trashpalooza Day. And so the Y is going to have a team. They're going to call it the Y Plogging Team. And I learned it's a new national initiative about responsibility, or social responsibility, but it was originated in Sweden. And it's about how you do walking and exercise and cleaning up at the same time. So interesting concept. So multitasking. So that is something that they're going to have on Trashpalooza Day. I wanted to let you know again, Rotary Tree Sale starts April 21st and we'll go through May 12th. Kids, there is a Peace Village coming up July 9th through the 14th at St. Francis Church, and the hours are 9 to 3. You'll learn about conflict resolution, mindful movement, nature, and some other really great things for kids to have knowledge of. In the chamber world, the next meeting is April 10th at the Gun Club. Cruise in Sherwood is June 9th. The grand opening for Club Pilates is April 14th, 9:30 to 10:30. There's still room for those of you who want to go explore China with a bunch of chamber members. I think Councilor Rosner and his wife are going to go. And then it's also time for Spotlight on Sherwood nominations. So you can go on the chamber website and nominate businesses or community members for several different awards. Last but not least, the Sherwood Police Foundation annual event is May 19th, and tickets are on sale now. And you can go to the Sherwood Police Foundation webpage, click on the Stakeout Boots and Bling, and buy your tickets. $50 a piece, or a table for $400. All yours.
Well, one of the benefits, or I guess it could be a negative, of going last is a lot of your items get crossed off your list. You got like 3 of them for me, so that's awesome. But I was going to mention the chamber trip. The chamber's hosting a trip to China. It's a great deal. 10-day trip. It's around a little over $2,000. Very highly recommended. A lot of the other chambers around here have done it, and people have a lot of fun with that trip. So me and Sharon are going, and hope some other people can join us. Since the one item that I have left on my list, well, first of all, if we go to the dance, do we have to dance?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have to think about that. It's Senior Center, yes.
I think someone might pull you out onto the dance floor if you show.
Are you going to be there?
I guess I will mention I'm the liaison to the Historical Society, and some of you, if you don't know, the Mooreback House, which is has a museum inside with a lot of history of Sherwood. It's actually absolutely fascinating to go in there if you enjoy that kind of stuff. It used to be our city hall years and years and years ago. Very early in my career, I can remember pulling wire under desks and installing terminals in there back in the 80s. But they are, if you've noticed, some of the fence around the house one of the houses over there is starting to get deteriorated, and they have a project in the works to get that fence repaired. A local fencing company donated some time toward that project, and they're getting that resolved as well. That's all I have. Oh, and I just wanted to thank Councilor Young for going to the school board meeting for me. I appreciate you doing that. So thank you.
Awesome. Great. I want to thank everyone for their support from family and friends that came out today to see three of us get sworn in again. Yeah.
And again.
And Russell, I don't think there is a record like yours anywhere in the region in the number of times you've been sworn in just a few months. But that's great. As Lee mentioned, Mayor Wise-Logal, once you're Mayor Wise-Logal, you're always Mayor Wise-Logal. I concur that we're fortunate, and I look forward to working with a great group of city councilors who all are here serving our community with the right energy and heart for our community. And I am really excited about the months ahead and the days ahead, because we're going to be seeing a little bit of each other in the next 5 days. And it's exciting. In the near term, I fully expect we'll be able to arrange a joint meeting with our school board for the first time in a number of years. I think the last one was back when I was mayor before. So to return to doing that, to re-engage important partners in our community. I was talking with Gene from our planning commission just the other day, and the importance of us getting together as a council with different boards and commissions from time to time when they're about to address important topics where they roll up their sleeves and really get into the nitty-gritty details and just leveraging all of our energies and strengths and ideas so that we're all moving ahead together and continuing the great work that everyone has done in the last few months. So I'm excited. Anything else for the good of the order? We will adjourn. And do you guys do a motion to adjourn nowadays, or just adjourn? I like it just adjourn. So we're adjourned.